Lincoln's Residence Hall is composed of 175 students, of whom 120 are Caucasian, 68%, 28 are African American, 16%, and only 19 are Hispanic, which is a mere 10.8%. At the same time, Founders Hall is comprised of 198 students, 99 being African American, which is 50%, and 59, which is Caucasian, which is only 29.8%, and 25 are Hispanic, which is a mere 12.6%. With the demographic concerns, I went around asking people what they thought should be done about this gap. Explain to me how your living is like in Lincoln, what it's like living in Lincoln.
Well, Lincoln in general is basically geared towards students having kind of the quote-unquote living learning community. So everyone in Lincoln basically knows each other, and or if we don't really know each other, we know of each other. And it's not that loud. It's pretty serene environment. Everyone's really pretty cool with each other, and I've generally had a decent amount of time spent in Lincoln where I've been with friends or I've just been studying, but it's usually a really nice environment for everyone to just study and learn, I guess.
My experience was primarily in Lincoln, and I thought it was very nice. We had a lot of services available, and people were nice.
Just kind of a quiet environment, and it's a good place to get your work done.
RAs are always available, people are there when you need help. So yeah, I like it.
Can you explain your experience living in Founders?
My experience living in Founders was a lot of fun. I was put with a bunch of different people, lots of diversity, because I was part of Story Steps. So I'm really glad that I got to experience that.
My experience in Founders, man, it's been great. I had a bad experience. I always had good times, fun times. I had a great experience in Founders.
My overall experience in Founders has been good. The people in Founders are very sociable. We get along very well. I made a lot of friends being in Founders, and it makes me feel at home. All the people are very inviting, and it's just been pretty good.
How would you compare the experience in Lincoln to what the experience could have been in Founders?
Well, I've never lived in Founders, but from what I heard, it was a little bit more messy, and the building itself was a little more unpleasant. And I'm not certain that it was horrible, but I don't know. From what I've heard, it was just like there were less services available officially.
Because LRH has the great room, so they have a lot more opportunity to be a part of things on campus and programs and events, versus Founders that doesn't really have anything but classrooms that are only used during the day.
Well, I started off my freshman year in Lincoln. It was really quiet, easy to get studying done. Obviously, we could easily find a lounge because there's 8 different lounges. Like, it's not hard to find. And now that I'm in Founders, I can't really do homework in the res hall. I have to go down to either the classroom, or after dark I can go to the grill, because the fact there's only 3 lounges, so there's always people in those 3 lounges because they're right in the middle of the building.
I know that I've spent a decent amount of time at FRH, and obviously I live at LRH, so I know what it's like in both of them, and I can see that there are cultural differences between both of them. The way that both residence halls in general are run.
How would you describe the demographics in both Founders and Lincoln?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure, but from what I hear, they say primarily all the minorities live in Founders, and then all the white kids, the Caucasian kids live here.
I don't know. It's kind of up in the air because it's not that many Caucasians in Founders, or it's not that many African Americans in Lincoln, so it kind of messed up the experience for both of us who can't interact.
If you look at the numbers, you can see that there is a clear difference in how many minorities there are in each residence hall. I know, for example, in LRH, the majority of the students are Caucasian. I know that in FRH that is also true. except for the fact that the ratio between minorities and Caucasians is a lot less divided. There's a smaller gap between both of them.
I mean, it looks that way, but I'm not sure if that's how they're trying to portray it. I feel like it's just by coincidence, because I was asked to be in the CAP program, and I know they go by qualifications and academic stuff.
Many people who were in Founders didn't necessarily know that the CAP program was available to them. I'm not certain, but that's something that springs to mind as a possible explanation, because I was like asked to be in the CAP program. That may not have always happened.
First of all, they're grouping all the people with the same socioeconomic backgrounds, the same ideals on what they want to do in life, just to create a sense of fitting in. And maybe that's why they push all the, per se, minorities in one building while putting all the other kids in the other building, because they have something to relate with each other well with.
What role does the honors program play in this discrepancy?
It's a big role, because there's not no honor students that I know of that live in Founders. All the honor students live in, the CAP students live in Lincoln.
Programs are kind of set in stone into either building. I know that LRH basically is all of CAP students, all of the honor students. FRH I know has necessary steps among other programs, and that really does provide a different experience for the students living in either residence hall, because the residents have to be catered to the specific needs by each program, and not necessarily everyone is having the same experience in both residence halls. And I think that's a really big issue that probably has been brought up recently in the last couple of weeks.
Do you believe there's a social barrier between the people who live in Lincoln and the people who live in Founders?
Yeah, I think it's a social barrier, just basically because we don't really talk to them that much, and they don't really talk to us that much. Well, as far as I see, the only time I might see or talk to the kids in Lincoln is if I'm like at a party or something, or at an event, and I get the chance to meet them. But as far as me like going to Lincoln or stuff like that, that doesn't really happen.
Why not?
I don't know.
Oh yes, there's definitely a social barrier. Like people from between Lincoln and Founders don't really interact with each other until everybody leaves those and ends up in the townhouses or somewhere, and then people get back together. So yeah, there's definitely a social barrier there.
My freshman year did not know I could even go into LRH, so I was always just in Founders. I never even stepped foot in LRH my freshman year.
I think there definitely is an inherent social barrier. I think it would be very possibly foolish to say that there isn't, because you can't have really the same kind of environment in two different residence halls. It's as close as you're gonna try to make both of them, they're not gonna be entirely the same.
People who live in Lincoln just kind of get this negative view of people who live in Founders, and it's vice versa. And I feel like that's mainly because of the way that the kids are split up between the two res halls.
Well, I don't think they think like they're better than us, so they can't talk to us or nothing like that. I just think I don't know, the interaction is just not there because we just don't see each other that much.
You keep company with the people that you're closest to, and that's unfortunately, that's the only people that they relate with 24/7 out of the day. So of course they're just gonna they're most likely to develop a connection with somebody they're hanging out with that much. And the same goes with the kids and Founders. They're with each other all the time. Of course, they're just they see that they have more things in common, so they're just gonna get together and coalesce.
I know people in Lincoln, but I just don't really go on Lincoln too much. Only time I go is pretty much if there's an event or if I go to the grad club.
Why do you think you've only been to Lincoln once?
I don't got no friends. I don't know nobody over there, really. So that's probably why.
And why do you think that you don't know anyone over there?
Because I live in Founders.
What do you think should be done about this demographic gap?
I'm really not sure. Like if Founders was just made a little nicer and brought up to code, I think that could definitely help. But in terms of the social Split, I think that maybe just getting away from the CAP program being in Lincoln might help things out a little, but I'm not positive.
My thoughts is that it's not entirely the university's problem because it's whoever applies to get into the honors program. So the university just needs to try and do a better job of getting more racially diverse people to apply.
I feel like if we was all to mix together, like some of the CAP students come over here and some of the African Americans go over there, school would be even better. Have more activities, more relationships, stuff like that.
I think that it's very important that they begin to integrate, just mix up, create a more diverse community, because as we both know, Springfield is not exactly the most diverse place in the world. And I think that this is a college to do with having different people from all walks of life, segregating them, systematically segregating them is not. This is breeding ground for like animosity and divide, and we don't want that because this is a learning environment, and we should encourage such an atmosphere of like, let's all bind together and make great things and do great things, And I think that's the most important thing.
The honors program should definitely be in both res halls. I feel like that would even things out a lot more, and that it would just kind of open up that social barrier that we were just talking about.
I feel like if we was more diverse, then it would just be better because we could help each other throughout our college course.
Yeah, I talked to Dr. Klingshire, the director of the CAP Honors Program, and we addressed some of the issues regarding both residence halls and the overall environment that minorities and Caucasians and people of all races, students of all races live in. And it's certainly been interesting to see how different people have different takes on the issue. Some people see it as an issue, some people don't even see it as an issue. And the people like me who see it as something that could become at least a really big issue on campus think that it should probably be addressed by guiding programs to be more centered towards being comforting towards minority students. I know, for example, when I entered on campus, I saw these cultural differences right away. It's not as easy to see for other people because of the environment they've been growing up in. And I think that as long as we gear the programs towards all students and being all inclusive on campus, we can probably provide a better environment for all students on UAS.
This is Joshua Manazi reporting for UAS Journal.